Hi learners! Welcome to our Learning Math series. My name is Coach MJ and I'm from Tula and tutor ko. Sa video natin ngayon, pag-aaralan natin kung ano ang simplifying fractions. Ano kaya to? Sige, simulan natin. Imagine this. Sa class nyo, sabi ni teacher, may math activity kayong gagawin. Sabi niya, we are going to measure our favorite school supply using our 1-foot ruler. And sabi niya, to write it in simplest form if possible. Pinili mo ang Lucky Pencil mo as your favorite school supply. At ang measurement nito ay 6/12 foot. Our question for today is the measurement of your Lucky Pencil in simplest form already? If it is not, how do we write it? Now you might wonder, Coach, why do we need to simplify? We simplify fractions so that they are easier to solve when we need to multiply or divide them. For example, 1/2 is easier to multiply than 4/8. Now, here are 3 tips in simplifying fractions, starting with tip number 1. Our given here is 20/100. Step 1. Divide the numerator and denominator by 2 if both are even. And yes, 20 and 100, they are both even. So let's divide them both by 2. And we will get 10/50. Now for step 2, repeat step 1 for as long as they are both even numbers. Both 10 and 50 are still even numbers. So we will divide them by 2 again. And we will get 5/25. This isn't actually the simplest form yet. Kaya lang hindi na even numbers ang 5 at 25. So di na talaga natin magagamit itong tip number 1. Kaya for now, this is the final answer for tip number 1 only. And this brings me to tip number 2. Using the same example, 5/25, here is step 1. Divide one number by the other if applicable. And you can ask yourself this question. Can the bigger number be divided by the smaller number? Yes, 25 can be divided by 5. So for step number 2, divide both numbers by the smaller number. 5 is the smaller number, so we will divide both the numerator and the denominator by 5. And when we do that, we will get 1/5. So ayan, 1/5 ang talagang simplest form nung 20/100 kanina. Now, let's look at another example. But this time, we will use tip number 3. Our given here is 12/18. Step 1, find the common factor of the numerator and denominator if applicable. To help us do this, we can ask ourselves this question. What number can they both be divided by? 12 and 18 are both divisible by 2, 3, and 6. So for step 2, get the biggest number and divide both the numerator and the denominator with that number. The biggest number out of all the factors is 6. So we will divide 12 and 18 by 6. And when we do that, we will get 2/3. And the simplest form of 12/18 is 2/3. Tara, practice together tayo. Natatandaan niyo pa ang question natin from earlier? Is the measurement of your Lucky Pencil in simplest form already? If it is not, how do we write it? It looks like 6 and 12 are both even numbers, which means that we can use tip number 1 to simplify it. Again, tip number 1, divide the numerator and the denominator by 2 if both are even. So let's divide 6 and 12 by 2. And when we do that, we will get 3/6. Now, they are no longer both even numbers. This means that we have to stop tip number 1 here. But this is not yet in simplest form. Kaya gaya ng example natin kanina, pwede tayong gumamit ng isa pang tip, which is tip number 2. Divide one number by the other if applicable. We can divide 6 by 3, so that means we will simply have to divide the numerator and the denominator by the smaller number, which is 3. And when we do that, we will get 1/2. The measurement of our lucky pencil in simplest form is 1/2 of a foot. Good job! You finished watching our video about simplifying fractions from the Learning Math series. May natutunan ka ba? Gusto mo pang mag-level up? Click that bell button below to subscribe so you'll get notified of new videos. Pwede mo ring puntahan ang YouTube channel namin. Happy learning!